Enraged road and rail commuters felt they'd been held to ransom early today when the Sydney Harbour Bridge was closed for 2.5 hours as police negotiated with a lone protester who'd used a ladder to get over barriers to scale to the top of the bridge. The man, 38, used his own abseiling ropes and grapples to come down after he agreed with the negotiators to be taken into police custody. His protest was not about a docks matter, police insisted. They declined to elaborate. It is police procedure to close the bridge to all traffic when human life is considered to be at risk. Premier Barry O'Farrell has ordered a review of bridge security, patrols, CCTV, barriers, gates and fences and criminal penalties. With the Harbour Bridge already a high-risk target, how could this happen? A short time ago, I spoke to Nick Caldis, Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Specialist Operations and Counter-Terrorism. Deputy Commissioner Caldis, thanks for making yourself available. Look, we've got this in perspective. There was a disruption for commuters, rail and road, for 2.5 hours this morning, but no one's dead. It was a lone protester, not a terrorist, but nevertheless, there has been a breach of security, has there not?
There has, and I understand people's frustration with the traffic jams and so on this morning, but I guess what will happen now is the Premier has announced a review of everything that's happened and the security and other procedures on the bridge. We'll go through with that and we'll fix up whatever problems there were. But at the end of the day, human beings are very innovative, and they will always try and find some way around whatever procedures we've got in place.
Well, you're trying to second-guess my next question, which was how could this happen, given that the bridge for many years now, since 9/11, has been identified as a high-risk target, a symbolic target, but a high-risk target?
Yes, it certainly is. But as I said, there will always be people who are innovative, who show a great deal of initiative and try and get around whatever we've got in place. Our task is to assess what went wrong, admit it, learn from it and fix it so it doesn't happen again.
What are the current security arrangements on the Harbour Bridge?
There are security arrangements in place which include quite a number of structural things that are in place to make sure that the bridge can withstand hopefully what we might expect to happen.
It's bristling with cameras and there are guards who walk around.
As well as electronic surveillance, there are a number of security guards that are deployed on the bridge on a random basis and intermittently so that we have coverage of most of it. That's within the RTA's ambit, not the New South Wales Police. However, we very much work hand in glove with that agency and other agencies.
Why isn't it police, not RTA, given that it's a high-risk target?
We're certainly consulted and we're very much involved in assisting with any advice we can give or any information we may have. But within the New South Wales Government, obviously, there's a range of levels of looking at things. That one's delegated to the RTA, but going right up to, there is a Cabinet Standing Committee which deals with terrorism issues and has ministers and CEOs of all the different government departments involved. And the September 11 report talked about the failure of imagination. We're very aware of that, and we constantly focus and think about what our enemy may think of and what we need to do to make sure that the people of New South Wales are safe. The people of New South Wales should take a lot of comfort in knowing that we have a very systematic, regular exercise regime. We exercise all our capabilities. We look at and sit and think about what may happen and what we need to do to protect the public. And I think by and large we've succeeded in doing that.
This man had climbing equipment, in fact a ladder on top of his car, and he got up and scaled the archway. Is that physically fixable?
We just have to wait and see what comes out of the review, but it's difficult to discuss the individual case. The individual involved has been charged and is currently before the court.
Are you satisfied it was necessary to close the bridge, including the rail access to the bridge, for that period of time while this gentleman was on top of the bridge?
Yes, I am. There was a risk assessment conducted on the ground by those who were there, and they felt that he could have, if he had fallen or jumped, gone in either direction, and therefore we simply couldn't take the risk.
There's a media debrief here too, because this gentleman wanted to get his cause onto the media and was interviewed via the media. I know he was in touch with negotiators on the phone, police negotiators. What's the lesson for the media here? Should the media take calls and put these calls from protesters like this and put them to air?
I can understand the temptation in talking to the person, particularly if they've contacted the media outlet. But the reality is there is a real risk. You don't know what frame of mind, what condition this person is in. We'd much prefer that the police negotiators are the only ones that have any contact with them, because later on it may well be that a media personality says or does the wrong thing and end up in the witness box in the coroner's court trying to explain what he said that set the person off and caused them to jump or otherwise.
That's a very hard ask in a competitive media nowadays,
Absolutely.
is it not?
It is.
So what is the question there for the media to consider the risk? We haven't got a capacity to make a risk assessment.
I'd recommend very strongly that they leave the negotiating and the communication with the person involved to the negotiators who are highly trained and skilled in that area.
The media can help too, can it not, if somebody all they want is recognition for a problem. It seems a little thing.
Certainly, but the difficulty is in assessing whether that really is what that person wants or whether they have some other ulterior motives. There are cases where people have, overseas in particular, where they have attracted media attention simply for the purpose of doing something quite bad, like jumping, so they can teach someone a lesson by having it on TV.
You're the head of counter-terrorism in New South Wales, Deputy Commissioner. 69 people are dead in Pakistan from a terrorist attack. It may be Osama bin Laden related. What is the risk assessment in Australia now after the termination of Osama bin Laden?
Our threat level is medium, which it has been since September 11. It hasn't shifted, and we're comfortable with that. We do monitor the events such as the one you've just described overseas closely. We certainly liaise and work hand in glove with all our federal colleagues as well as other government agencies, interstate and so on. We're comfortable that there is no current information that leads us to believe the threat should be heightened.
Deputy Commissioner, thanks very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.